Hey, everyone. Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for this session. One of the very first ones where we talk about outranking and how just basically 101, the questions that you have. Pankil here is my co-founder, and he's going to do the walkthrough and answer any of your technical questions. Hey, hi.
Right. We'll get started right away. And if you guys have any questions, you can drop it in the chat box below. Just click on that chat window.
Really quick, for all of you, if you just drop in the chat, whether you already purchased the lifetime deal, you know that we actually have a lifetime deal for the next probably like 10 days or so. And I think until May 22nd. So purchase. Brad said purchase. Sounds good. Hopefully you will not be disappointed. And that's, those are the calls that we're doing here are for this reason to get you acquainted. And if you have any questions, ask them here. For all of you who have not purchased or maybe on the fence, this also is a session for you. Keith is also saying purchased. Thank you. This is also a session for you, like to ask any questions if you're still on the fence.
Natalie, let's share a little bit background about, all three of us. We've been getting tons of questions on what sort of background we have and what do we bring to the table that makes us unique and that they have confidence in this product and the team. I'll start with just a quick background about me. So my name is, and I come from a background of entrepreneurship, leading marketing for the startup that I co-founded 15 years ago, and then exited out of it just about 3 years ago and joining an enterprise company to lead digital marketing and digital growth and driving leads and revenue with tactics related to SEO and SEM. I have 15 years of background in creating content and trying to failing and succeeding, ranking some very small sites to very big sites. And so that's what I bring to the table. Sirkan is not here because of Eid, and his background is strictly from an SEO agency standpoint, working for very big companies and creating this content strategies. And he brings about 25 years of core SEO expertise to the product. And that is how we went about and created this product from the ideas and the tricks that we were using to rank some of this content.
My name is Natalie, and some of you may know me. I'm running the mastermind and the community SaaS boss. I am very deeply involved in the SaaS community and joined Outranking as a co-founder a couple of months ago. And overall, I bring just a business perspective and growth, and I work with multiple SaaS companies. I'm also strong in the community, so we'll do these sessions is just one of the first one, but I'm going to try and do more around the communities, kind of strengthening relationships of all the SEO and content people and seeing how together we can create so much more. And obviously we're looking for your feedback on any of that. A little bit more about more additional sessions that are to come. We're going to do more sessions that are going to be more like mastermind type. So for anyone, I know I asked the question in the group, like who wants to be a part of the mastermind? And I know that a lot of people, I think we got like a couple of dozen responses saying that, yes, I'd like to be part of a mastermind. So we will be doing that. Okay. We'll start probably our first mastermind call next week. So if this is something that you'd like to participate, just reach out to me directly and I'll share with you the date and time. But it looks like here we are. We don't have any questions because if you do, drop them here in the chat. Well, when Pankil is going to do a little bit more like a demo style, you can also drop the questions so that he knows where to take his session.
Sounds great. So we did have a question. Karan asked if we could show him how to create content around best earphones under 1,000. So let us know when we can get started.
Yeah, let's go get started. Target country, India, by the way.
India? Okay, all right. So then okay, let me bring this right into it. Okay, so I did create one. I did not target India. So let's go ahead and change that query. So the content has loaded up. This is the keyword that you're targeting. This is the country. And I did open up also the same earphone, the same keywords with a different location to tell you that the kind of differences that you can have between different geographies and demographics and how this is super accurate in pulling that data. So let's talk about India. In here, you can see the maximum and average word count, readability, sentences that you need to sort of target and have an idea of what an average looks like and what a maximum looks like. Sections, whether you're using metadata or not, what sort of exact searches related to your content that people actually typed it in Google and have certain search volume associated with it are targeting in their content. And this is loosely matched, right? So it picks up even the stop words between certain keywords. So you could say yoga for a fat loss, or you could say yoga fat loss. they essentially mean the same thing, and Google considers them to be, very closely related. So in terms of matching the keywords, our algorithm even picks up those top words where it makes sense and excludes them when it's considering whether it's an exact match or not. So it's quite accurate, and we're like constantly improving this logics as well, but it is quite accurate in catching what sort of phrases and what sort of keywords and what sort of volumes that this keyword and this data brings to other pages that are already ranking. Then we have links, the average amount of links that people have used. So for this particular keyword, you'd say, this is affiliate kind of a keyword, right? So like lots of affiliates would want to rank here and probably show top 10 or top 20 earphones under 1,000. So that's also possible, right? So to consider here that and maximum page is ranking has 13 links. Average page has 1 link. So what happens is that when you're creating this affiliate page and you have tons and tons of links, probably more than 13, which is what we've seen often affiliates don't check if they're still starting out, is that their link to content ratio is too high. So what happens is that now all of a sudden, Google would consider you in a different category and I'm not saying that this will happen, but it happens in majority of the cases that they'll consider you as a directory listing pages, right? Because you have comparatively so many links outbound going from your content that the real value that the user is going to find is on very many different pages, right? So you don't get ranked for that. So you need to make sure that you have the right balance. So this is why this data is super important. Then images related data, so right? Like you have an example related keyword, or even an e-commerce site and how many products and services you have shown and how many outbound links have you shown, right? Those kind of information, you sometimes want to see what sort of images people have used. So for this particular content, you can see that there's 55 images, maximum and 16. So you could say, okay, they might be showing approximately, 16 products on their web page. And this is just an example, but these are some, like an educated guess that you would make based on this data, but it's not going to significantly impact the way you rank for certain keywords or not. It all comes down to content depth and sections that you have defined and how optimized the content is for related keywords and readability, right? All those things also come into picture as well. So everything contributes a little bit, adding up to something that Google considers that this is great. Okay. So there's AI writing strands, right? Like you can select whether you want to do fluent or whether you want to do creative. And there's tons of improvements that we're bringing to AI too. So right now we're using a bunch of libraries, BERT and GPT-2 and a few others to do some of the work that we are trying to do over here. But now we've started introducing GPT-3. So this is going to be a really, really, really important feature that we'll roll out in future. Is that you start typing, you put in outlines into the editor, and GPT-3 and our existing content and ranking information and all the statistics is how it's going to do its job to help you really find out what is the closest content that you should be writing, and it probably would write to a certain level by itself. Okay, so let's keep going. There is a content pillar, content format type, and many of you know that pillar page is super important when you're trying to create this long form pages, which is all as pillar pages. They have tons and tons of information, and they have very very in-depth details about that topic and the clusters around it. So if you select pillar pages, your content score will automatically, dramatically also change, and automatically change to adjust to some of these parameters. So you know exactly how deep you need to go in terms of addressing that content need. Then pages analyzed. What you have right now is 20 pages that we analyze by default. You can add your own pages as well over here, and you can add multiple ones by clicking this, and you can just save. You can then, when you're done with it, you can also remove them and just adjust it according to whatever. So with this particular tab done, let me jump right into research so I can show you how you can also, with this new feature that we have added, have the ability to hide and show certain pages and exclude them from being considered in the statistics. And this was one of the very popular enhancement requests that we had. So we try to implement it right away in the minimalistic way that the user flow is not interrupted. And we have only tested and proven that can work in an environment with such a need better. So we will keep making enhancements to this feature as we go along. But what we have right now, let's say if you want to exclude Amazon from it, you can select Amazon, and it will exclude those two links from the content score. So this words and the scoring and how the keywords from within those pages are affected in the statistics is mostly changed. But you will still be able to see the data related to those two pages in the content. Similarly, yeah, so you can scroll down. So we made tons of enhancements over here as well in the last past days. There was an issue when someone searches something, this entire screen was moving up and it was creating some usability issues. So we fixed that, and we also added a scroll within this page to help you navigate as you want within those pages without this top panel moving. Anything that we can do to maximize the effect that you get out of this platform, as well as make your work as little as possible. Okay, so let's go back to instructions, and then you can navigate through each of these topics. So this is suggesting that you need to create a meta title with at least 60 characters, and you so far have 0. You can see ideas from it. All these ideas are there. You can copy one of the ideas that you like, or you could rewrite it. So this is rupees. You see, this is how localization works, right? If you were to search from US, you would get things in dollars, right? So this is in rupees, and it is giving you websites and data and everything related to that particular demographic. So to address that question, right? Like lots of people had this question, like, how does this localization work? So this does work for local SEO. And even if you type in something very specific like Mumbai, or very specific like I would say Chicago, Illinois, United States, or right, like, very specific locations, you would also get data related to those specific locations. So it works pretty well. Then you can rewrite some of those things and then copy right into the editor. So for the sake of the demo and to answer everybody's question, I'm going to go faster into this, and then we can come back and answer any of the questions that anybody has. So similarly, you can go there. You can also go to high frequency keyword data and construct your title based on some of the important keywords that we are suggesting. So you don't have to include everything, but try and include as much as you can. So you'd see that this is very repeated, right? Best earphones in India. See, that's where, again, demographics come into play. So you might miss that from meta title, but you will not miss this from high frequency keywords. And this is why our suggestions are so good, that you can actually create content that, touches that user intent right on. So you could just say best earphones or best headphones in India and related news or something like that, right? And you can construct your meta title from it and then go from there. So then you can go back to instructions and also optimize it for some keyword data that we find that other competitors have been using. So you could use Mike, you could use 1000, which that other high frequency keyword data was not suggesting. So you can optimize that title based on this information and construct something that gives you 100% score on title. So I will just construct one of these things so you guys can have an idea. So it really depends on the demographics, but now I have this at least targeted, right? So I'm targeting majority of it and I get a tick mark over here. So this is good enough. So if you want to do more optimization, you could try and target mic with it, right? So like there's a mic also, so earphones. So there we go. So now you're also getting closer and closer to it really depends on your use case and how much you want to optimize. Don't optimize it to a level that it just becomes unreadable for the user. That's not our intention. So what we suggest is use it in your at your best abilities and make sure that the sentence or the title is readable and adheres to also some of these guidelines over here. So you can keep doing that. So let's say if you have a brand name or a website name that you want to attach with it, you could also do it like that. So like, many people do that. When you've already targeted all the keywords, important keywords associated with the user intent, you can target your brand name as well. So all of these things you can do to, bring the scores closer to what it needs to be. Then you can go through meta description, similarly rewrite it using AI. And I will rewrite this just as an example. So it just rewrote a little bit, not much. Let's see if again. Okay, so there it wrote a little bit even further. You could do that. Or if you wanted to do something really creative, you can go and change that setting in the overview and see it. But again, the point is not to copy and paste. The point is to get you 60, 70, 80% of the way. So then you can personalize the content and make it better for your audience. So you can do that. Then you can similarly go create your headings. And this is a very, very common thing that people do is they use the same H1 as they use in the meta title. Great, you can do that. That's nothing wrong with it. But sometimes you can target different keywords in the title as well as your H1 tag with it's with still having the same meaning and nothing significantly different, but it's targeting a couple of other keywords. So it just makes it easier for the algorithm, any algorithm, right, to find relevancy and push you further in the engine. Then you can go to sections. And this is also AI curated, and it's still learning from users and what they are arranging, and it will keep improving over the period of time. You can move them around, you can edit right into them, you can also rewrite them, you can expand them, you can cancel the ones that you really. So here is, if you're creating an affiliate related site, like, look, these are the products that people are talking about. It's so much easier to do the research on and get some value out of it. So you probably know, like, what sort of price they're targeting, what sort of audience that loves this kind of products and stuff like that. And you can go beyond that and add even more information and stuff like that. So let's see what sort of information you'd want to add, like in highest frequency keywords. I would say, let's say, so people are looking for wired ones, right? So you'd want to mention that. They're looking for quality. Then let's see, they're looking for stuff that has balance. They're also looking for reviews, right? So when you're constructing your sentences, even from the outlines that we have, then you can come back and kind of, see if you are talking about, that what majority of the people are doing. And the point is that if the deeper you like, so let's say if your domain authority is, quite less, and you can rank for keywords, but not against some very competing website. So in that case, when you're optimizing the heck out of any page, you can include as many highest frequency keywords in your content as possible to adhere to some of those important, relevancies across your content, or in this case, outlines. You can also like navigate through all of these like sections. So it makes it super easy for you guys to, sorry, not sure what happened. Just 1 second. There we go. Okay, so things like that. Then questions people are asking related to, like, are you hunting for the best? So, okay, so this might not be relevant, right? So it's basically choosing, so what best earphones under 1,000 has the highest sound quality, right? So you can write it better. You can use the AI to write it better. And most times, okay, which earphone has the highest sound quality for less than $1,000, right? So this is better constructed sentence. And the other previous question also had errors, right? So it fixed it right away. You can then change this to 1000 because that's what people are searching for, and then insert it right as one of the questions that you want. So you can construct your entire affiliate page with this so easily. And what we suggest is you answer at least 4 questions, but you can answer as many as you want. And we suggest, more the better. So, okay. So similarly, you can go through all of these things and analyze every piece of content that you need to create. So I think I went through this super quickly to demonstrate how you can get value out of any of these keywords, right? So what I wanted to show you now is that let's look at some of the statistics that we got from the ones in US. So this is United States. Let's edit it. See, then that was 7,000 as maximum. This is 5,000 as maximum. The data is going to be super related to US. So let's go and see instructions, title, see some ideas, and look at some keywords. So it is still showing India for this for some reason, but the keywords are different. Okay, let's go. Okay, so some of the Indian sites are still ranking for some of this thing. So there might be a bug over here. But it was pulling in United States content based on some of this statistics that we see are totally different in what it is suggesting that you do with your content. I see one question related to probiotic. What would be the best to use as a pillar page and then supporting topic pages? I sell probiotics. Topic cluster really have been a problem for me with content cannibalization in the past. So it really depends. What I would suggest is, I would probably need your website to see like what sort of topic cannibalization are you talking about. So yeah, sure. Like if you are creating multiple pieces that target, one particular keyword again and again, you are not going to get the best value out of it. So what I would suggest is that, doing a content audit and trying to see which keywords you are ranking for, which URL ranks for those keywords. And this is if you have tons and tons of content on your page. So, okay, so when you do that, you will find out all the links and all the topics that you rank for. So now you have an idea of what you don't need to touch. Then you can look at some of these other things and then start optimizing it from there. But I mean, probiotics, like I really need to try and see what product it serves, right? Like probiotics could mean a lot of things. So I would go as down as the specifics of what sort of probiotics that you're offering, what are some of the differentiations, what are some of the problems that it's solving, and try and create content. Okay, then let's go down. Okay, in Google, when I search best earphones 1,000, the number 2 result is the best in earphones under 1,000 in India. That's why it's shown there. Okay, got it. Then Malvio, in relation to the title, are those suggestions or titles from high ranked article and we should apt not copy? Yes, absolutely, you should apt and not copy. Copying is never the solution. Okay, so here's a few things that I will tell you guys, and this is based on knowledge, but adhere to some of the best practices. So let's go to title and just scroll up right here. If you see titles, right, and sometimes you'll see like there's not much difference in the first 3 titles besides a few things here and there. So they mentioned a specific date. This guys have mentioned September over here, but besides that, like pretty much it's all the same, just the sentence construction is a little different, right? But they're both ranking here. So but what the point is that you cannot be same as your competitors. You have to be different, and plus you have to add value. So yes, apt from it, add value to it, make it better than what your competition is doing, looking at them and following the suggestions that the platform is giving you and creating content, with that strategy. So there was one more question. Is there any plan in the roadmap to add something like Market Muse's inventory to help us manage what we need to work on? Yes, that's a very good question. So yes, what we are trying to build is a keyword tracker. And what you can do is that you can dump your keywords in that particular feature, and it will go and map the URLs that are potentially ranking for it in Google with it. And it will suggest you whether you need to create better content around it, whether there's an opportunity over there to optimize that particular piece of content. And it will also give you ability to add your keywords that you're not ranking for it and be very specific in terms of execution. You would probably also have the ability to time them, right? So when you are about to create that content, it will go and pull the research out already. So it saves you even 1 more minute. And you can then distribute that to your writers in different ways. So we're also bringing enhancements in future around the workflow management. So you'll be able to allocate a certain amount of characters or certain amount of documents that a particular person in your team can write as well.
Hey guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Otherwise, looks like we're done with just overall demo. And so if there's anything that you have questions about, or you can just feel free to unmute yourself and just hop in and just chat with us here. That would be also something that we will welcome. Otherwise, if there are no questions, I will drop next time. So these sessions we're hosting every single week, so on a weekly basis. So if you have any questions, feel free to join these sessions. We're also going to host more like mastermind sessions where all of you are going to be talking. It's not just us talking heads. I said that there are a couple of other questions. I will specifically come up with more questions for next week. Brad, awesome. We'll look forward to that. Could we continue by adding some titles, meta descriptions, and headlines to see how the SEO score is building up?
So let's go and see. So what it does is that it's going to tell you that your meta title has the highest score associated with it. Okay. So this will approximately lead your score to 20, but the remaining dynamics are a bit complicated in terms of how they're distributed, because we see keyword research in it, we see highest frequency keywords in it, and we see some of the best practices that you've adhered to it or not. So those scores are distributed. And if you make a certain change in title and then you start building out your content, and you have certain elements missing from your title that you've talked about in your content, and that then your competition is actually using those. So those will also sometimes reflect the way the score is calculated. So let's go over here and see the best earphones in India for under 13. I like this. Let me rewrite it. And since I don't have the domain expertise for this, I'm going to use mostly rewrites and use some enhancements to improve the score. So I don't need this for right now. Let's go and see. It improves my score a little bit to 10. Let's go to instructions. I have not talked about earphones. Headphones. Okay, so headphones and earphones could mean 2 different things. So you really need to understand which one you're targeting. I think what you need to do is first go and see if people have used headphones to rank for this keyword. They have not, right? So it's best earphones. So I would say, go here best earphone, best in-ear, no, this is probably the AI. So best earphones under 1,000 rupees in India. And you could say, okay, so I think earphones. I'm uttering to this, but there is plenty of room for improvement. So I'm gonna go here, and then let's see which I can talk. So I could say, you could probably construct this sentence in a much better way. So I would say India. I think base is a feature that you have. No, sorry, instructions. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so this makes it good. I also have 60 characters right on. So this is great. This is great. Let's minimize this. Go to description. Go to one of the descriptions over here. Okay, let's see. Headphones. Okay, best ear headphones. Okay, you could say this, but we could see. All right. So let's rewrite this. Go here and copy this in right now. Then we can go back to instructions. Just refresh the score a little bit. It's 270, which is okay. Let's see if you're targeting some of this. Okay, so you're targeting enough over here. So you can probably optimize it if you want, but I don't see a need yet. What I would do is I would go here and see, okay, so now you see some of the kinds of earphones that people have mentioned in their description. So Philips, you have mentioned, right? Realme, we have not mentioned. You could mention that if you wanted to. Sennheiser is something that you can mention as well in your content, and construct it a little differently, or have the core topics that you have in your content outlined over here. So you can always come back and change this when you are finally optimizing your content once you have written everything up, because scores will be different, when you have actually completed the entire content.
Colin is asking a question. Is there a plagiarism checker or a plan to add one? With AI rewriting, sometimes the content is not original.
Yes. So we are toying the idea with integrating an plagiarism API. What currently we have and what we noticed is that many people out there use Grammarly. And if you do use Grammarly, you can always come back here and check your scores. You can go to suggestions, I think, if not here. So there is a plagiarism suggestion that comes up over here in settings that you can turn on. I don't have this turned on over here. So what you have currently is that, but yes, we want to add a plagiarism API integration over here that can allow you to do this on the fly. So can I continue, or did that answer the question?
That answered.
Yes. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Okay, so the point is, guys, we want to include everything. So we're trying to get this. Our platform is not a tool, it's a platform, right? Now we're trying to make this integrations work so you can do as little work. I mean, we want to make sure that, everything that you do is super productive. So, we want to get you to create the content with as little as time as possible, having the quality and the depth and SEO optimizations and all of those checkpoints in it. So we will do everything that we can to make sure that, you guys get the tools and utilities in one place to do this. Okay, all right. So I have this. What I can do now is that I can go to headings. I can see some of the headings that people have came up with. I could say, let's copy this and then change it a bit to target a little different keyword, but not really changing the meaning of it. You could also use it as the same thing. Okay, so 27. You see that's the reason why it's not giving tons and tons of score to a heading right away is because we've tested this 1,000 times, that the tests were inconclusive when the H1 tag was missing from a particular page. And based on that, we did our own experiments to see if, let's say, can we rank for a website when we don't have any H1 tag at all? We just have the meta title and straight away the content, right? Yes, you can. But it all depends on your domain authority, what sort of standing you have in terms of, href and Moz and all of those statistics and all of that. So there are many factors to consider based on which it will be decided whether it's important for you or not. But as a good practice or as the best practice, having H1 is important for the structure of the document. So it tells that, this is the starting, this is the second step, and then steps inside it. This is the entire structure of the document. The better structure you have, the more we think, you should be scored higher because it's easier for your readers to read, as well as easier for Google to understand what sort of value that you add to the user intent. Okay, so as that, let's see, go back to instructions. I'm going to go to the H1 tag, see the headings, and see the highest frequency keywords. So I'm targeting everything that somebody would have. So this is the best example of why we have the best of the best titles. You'd see that most people have targeted best and earphones, but most missed out on all of these. Okay, and this is this is like a super example of why you can use this tool to create the best headings and titles for your content. Okay, so then let's go to sections and start creating some sections. I am not from this space and I really don't know any of this products. So whatever I do is going to be based on some random judgments. And here, oh, look at that. Like it's talking about MI dual driver and all, like pros and cons about it and all of it, right? So you could probably use this particular format to create in-depth content around all the products that you are talking about, right? So you could select this, you could select this. This is from some of the already ranking pages, right? So you'd want to change this around. So you could have a different section for pros, cons, and this is fine. Specifications, you could have your reviews in it. You could have some comments from Amazon or wherever these products are selling from on it. You could have some images more than on it. Like, so you can do plenty of value addition even by just looking at some of the competitions and then deciding how to do it better. So, okay, so this is very in-depth, right? And then there's conclusion. So I'm thinking that this is coming from some other page. Then let's see the list of 15 earphones. So this is straight up just, right? So you see that other outline that we saw was much more in-depth and sort of gave us the entire structure and depth that we needed. So what is, look, nobody's asking any questions here. One or two maybe, but not really relevant either. So I see opportunity here. What I will do right now is that for the purpose of our demonstration, I'm going to copy this perfect outline out there and then add value to it. Okay. Let's go and check our content score. So of course, you're going to have to change this. You can change the products names too, like based on the popularity when you are writing the content, right? So a lot can change based on that. And then let's go to some sections from SERP and see some ideas. So sound quality and build quality is something that I see over here. So there's build quality and there's sound quality. Okay, so perfect. You don't need for just to repeat this again and again. That's okay because you have already targeted that. And it's okay. So this is like an optimization technique for ranking for a specific keyword. Like let's say if you were targeting specifications of a MI dual driver, and that's what you wanted to rank for, it's okay to leave this like this. So there might be better chances of ranking for it. But in our research, as far as you have those addressed, somewhere around that content, you should be okay. Okay, so let's see. Titles and sections optimization is okay. Let's go and see what we can do better in sections. So just scroll down all the way down. I have the necessary sections that I need, but I have not targeted any of the keywords. Okay, so you have to talk about JVC earphones with mic. You have to talk about earphones with mic under India. So like, okay, so they are mentioned somewhere, which is okay, but some of your competitors have also mentioned this in their content somehow, whether in bold tags or H2 tags. So you could use some of this tactics to mention that in some of the H2 or H3 content. So let's see how we can bridge that gap. The way I would do is go to questions. People also ask, look at this. All right, this is the gold mine. There's 20 questions associated with earphones under 1,000. Go and add all of those questions. So wherever deem fit. So you could have a section up over here that answers all the questions, which earphone is the best, and then you can probably structure this inside. But answering those questions will give you a chance to rank for a feature snippet as well as answer the question box. So we suggest that you use as many questions as you can. And doing this will bring your score up significantly higher. So I'm just adding it like, from a blind eye, but you can do some of these things the way you would do by adding value. Okay, there we go. Our score started improving. And what I would also do is like go to research and see like, some of the ranking pages and their scores as well. So the highest you see is 72 here, 76 here, right? So you will also have an idea of how difficult it is to rank. So like 81, I would easily pass 80, 82, right? So you should go way beyond that as much as you can. And in certain cases, it's just not possible to get there, but you should. What we've also added is topic coverage as a new enhancement that we launched yesterday. In this, your topic coverage is also scored. So people are talking about price range, and this is within the content, okay? So it doesn't need to be in headings or any of those things. But when you're writing content, You need to talk about noise cancellation. You need to talk about this particular brand has been mentioned many, many, many times. You need to talk about price range. You need to talk about if there is a remote button or is there is an inline microphone, things like that, right? So you could like, if you reach about 70 percentile of the topics covered over here, consider that really good. And scoring is also dependent on that. So you will start creating content. So the point is to get it as close to 100 as possible. So we're not saying that, with 75 or you have 75 score, but you have no content, you are going to rank for it. No, you need to make sure that all of these turn green, and they will only turn green once you have a significant amount of content. And then you can also go here and see what your word count is. You need to start getting everything green. So your sections are good. Meta title exec searches is also good. Now you're targeting all the keywords that you need. Okay, so you're not using any links yet, not using any images yet, right? So all of this, like you can use this and build out the content, and the score will fluctuate based on that. Okay, any additional questions? I will mute myself. So Natalie, if you have read anything.
No questions. A couple of people ask for replays. We will send it to everyone who registered to this session. And it looks like some people said that I'm going to have more questions for next week. That's totally fine. Same time, same place, actually the same URL as well. So we're also going to send you a calendar invite just so that you don't forget if you'd like to join for next week's session as well. But looks like I don't have anything on my end. Looks like Serkan, one of our co-founders, joined as well. You can wave. You can see him here. Looks like that's it for me. I don't have anything else. We don't have anything else in the comments. Punkil, anything from you?
So I just wanted to thank everybody. Thank you for joining to this webinar. And I hope this was useful. If you have comments, suggestions, feedback, positive, negative, feel free to reach out to us and help us, take this product to the next level. So thank you all so much for participating, and we enjoyed having you here. And hopefully we'll see some of you in the next one as well.
Bye.
Bye.